World War II. The war that reshaped humanity forever. From Hitler's lightning invasions across Europe to the shock of Pearl Harbor, 2,400 lives lost in a single morning, and the final devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where over 200,000 perished, including radiation victims. This is the story of World War II, the deadliest war in the history of humans.
We shall never surrender!
The story begins in 1919, just after the guns fell silent on World War I. The victorious Allies gathered to decide Germany's fate. The Treaty of Versailles was signed, a treaty that would haunt the world for decades. Germany was forced to accept full blame for the war, a clause known as the War Guilt Clause. But the punishment didn't stop there. Germany had to pay astronomical reparations, $33 billion at the time, a sum so vast it crippled the country's economy for generations. Imagine this. In 1922, a loaf of bread cost 160 German marks. By 1923, that same loaf cost 200 billion marks. Hyperinflation wiped out savings, jobs vanished, and millions faced starvation and homelessness. The German people were humiliated and desperate. In this despair, a charismatic figure emerged, Adolf Hitler. A former soldier turned politician, Hitler knew how to tap into the anger and fear of the masses. In 1923, Hitler attempted a coup in Munich, the beer hall putsch. It failed, and he was imprisoned, but his message spread like wildfire. He blamed Germany's woes on internal enemies, Jews, socialists, and traitors. His propaganda machine painted a picture of a betrayed nation waiting for a savior. The Great Depression in 1929 was the perfect storm. Unemployment soared to 6 million by 1933. Families starved, and hope seemed lost. Hitler seized power that year, declaring himself dictator and promising to restore Germany's pride and power. Despite the Treaty of Versailles forbidding Germany from having an air force or large military, Hitler openly defied these rules. By 1935, Germany had rebuilt its air force, the Luftwaffe, and Britain even signed an agreement recognizing Germany's navy. France, fearful of German aggression, constructed the Maginot Line, a massive defensive wall along its border. But Hitler had no intention of respecting these barriers. In 1938, Hitler turned to Austria, his homeland. He wanted to unite all German-speaking peoples under one Reich. Using political pressure and propaganda, Hitler infiltrated Austria's government. When Austria's leader tried to hold a referendum on independence, Hitler invaded with his army. Austria was annexed peacefully, with many Austrians welcoming the Nazis. Next, Hitler demanded the Sudetenland, a region of Czechoslovakia with 3 million ethnic Germans. British Prime Minister Neville, desperate to avoid war, negotiated the Munich Agreement in 1938, allowing Hitler to annex the Sudetenland in exchange for a promise of peace. But this promise was a lie. Less than a year later, Hitler invaded the rest of Czechoslovakia, shattering the illusion of peace. Hitler's next move was Poland. To avoid a two-front war, he signed a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union, secretly agreeing to divide Poland between them. On September 1st, 1939, German forces unleashed Blitzkrieg, lightning war, using fast tanks and air support to overwhelm Polish defenses. Britain and France, bound by treaty, declared war on Germany 2 days later. But their support was limited, and Poland fell within weeks, partitioned between Germany and the Soviet Union. In 1940, Hitler invaded Denmark and Norway swiftly, securing vital ports and resources. Then came the stunning attack on France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Bypassing the heavily fortified Maginot Line, German forces struck through the Ardennes forest, a route the Allies thought impassable. The rapid advance trapped Allied forces in Belgium, leading to the dramatic Dunkirk evacuation, where hundreds of thousands of soldiers were rescued by a flotilla of military and civilian vessels. France surrendered in June 1940, leaving Britain as the last major European power standing. With France fallen, Hitler planned to invade Britain, Operation Sea Lion. But first, Germany needed control of the skies. From July to October 1940, the Luftwaffe launched relentless air attacks on British airfields and cities. Despite being outnumbered, the Royal Air Force fought fiercely, using radar and superior tactics to repel the attacks. The turning point came on September 15, 1940, Battle of Britain Day, when the RAF shot down over 60 German planes, forcing Hitler to postpone his invasion plans. At this point of time, U.S. still hadn't entered the war and had left the Europe on its own. With Britain holding out, Hitler turned east. In June 1941, he launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history. 3 million German soldiers attacked the Soviet Union. Despite early victories, the Germans faced fierce resistance, harsh winters, and vast distances. The Soviet Union, under Stalin, mobilized its people and resources. The Battle of Stalingrad became the deadliest battle of the war. Soviet forces encircled and defeated the German Sixth Army in early 1943. It was a turning point. Germany began to retreat. While Europe burned, tensions rose in the Pacific. Japan, seeking to dominate Asia, faced embargoes from the United States. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, killing over 2,400 Americans. The next day, the United States declared war on Japan. Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S., making the conflict truly global. In 1942, the Allies began to turn the tide. The Battle of Midway destroyed 4 Japanese aircraft carriers. In North Africa, British and American forces defeated the Axis. In Italy, Mussolini was overthrown by his own people in 1943. The famous song Bella Ciao was born from the Italian resistance. On June 6, 1944, the Allies launched D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion in history. Over 150,000 troops stormed the beaches of Normandy, opening a second front in Europe. As the Soviets pushed from the east and the Allies from the west, Germany was squeezed on 2 fronts. Allied bombing devastated German cities. In early 1945, Soviet troops surrounded Berlin. On April 30, 1945, Hitler committed suicide. Germany surrendered on May 8, 1945, Victory in Europe Day. But the war wasn't over. Japan refused to surrender. In July 1945, the Allies demanded Japan surrender. When they refused, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August. Tens of thousands died instantly, and many more from radiation. On September 2, 1945, Japan formally surrendered. World War II was finally over. The war changed everything. Europe's map was redrawn. Germany was divided. The United Nations was founded to prevent future conflicts. The European coal and steel community laid the groundwork for today's European Union. The lessons of World War II about the dangers of aggression, the importance of alliances, and the resilience of democracy remain vital today. Thank you for joining this journey through World War II, a story of ambition, tragedy, and transformation. If you want to dive deeper into any part of this history, just ask.